Let's start with something simple. The world is noisy, very noisy. Every day, people are bombarded with ads, messages, products, opinions, and brands trying to sell them something. The human brain can't take it all in, so it filters and forgets and ignores. That's where positioning comes in. This book isn't just about advertising or branding. It's about how to make people notice you, and more importantly, remember you. Written by Ries and Trout, two big names in marketing. Positioning. The battle for your mind came out in 1981 and changed the game. The core message is simple. You win in business not by being better, but by being first in the mind of the customer, or by being different enough to stand out. You don't yell louder. You speak clearly. You take a position and own it. In this 5,000-word ride, we'll unpack the key ideas of the book in the simplest terms possible, because the best positioning, after all, is the one that's easy to understand. The battle is in the mind. Ries and Trout tell us that marketing isn't a battle of products. It's a battle of perceptions. What matters isn't what you think about your product. It's what the customer thinks. And most people already have fixed ideas in their minds. They don't change them easily. So your job is not to create something brand new in someone's mind. That's nearly impossible. Instead, your job is to find an open space in their mental file cabinet where you can insert your message. If a space already exists, like the first cola, it's nearly impossible to take it. But if there's an empty spot, like the first Diet Cola, that's your opportunity. Think of it like planting a flag on a hill. That hill may already belong to someone else, like Coke or Nike. But if you find a new hill that no one owns yet, you can be the first to claim it. Why being first matters so much. Ries and Trout repeat this idea throughout the book. Being first in a person's mind is way more valuable than being the best. People rarely remember who came in second. Do you know who the second person on the moon was? Probably not. But you know Neil Armstrong. When people think of online shopping, they think of Amazon. When they think of electric cars, they think of Tesla. That's the power of being first. Even if someone later creates a better product, it's hard to replace what's already sitting on top of that mental ladder. If you're first, your position becomes your identity. People don't question it, they accept it. You become the standard by which others are judged. It's like getting the best seat at the table and no one being able to move you. What if you're not first? Okay, you weren't first. You didn't invent the category. Someone already owns the top rung of the ladder in the customer's mind. Now what? You don't fight them head on. That's a waste of money, time, and energy. Instead, you create a new ladder, a new category, and try to be first in that. Take 7-Up, for example. They weren't Coca-Cola. They weren't Pepsi. So they created their own category, the Uncola. Brilliant. They weren't competing directly. They were something else entirely. Ries and Trout call this repositioning. Finding a new way to look at yourself that creates a different identity in people's minds. If Coke is cola, then you're something else. If Avis isn't the #1 rental car company, then they're #2, and we try harder. It's clever, and it works because it tells the truth and makes you stand out. The ladder theory, how people think. Let's talk more about this ladder idea. In the mind of the customer, each product category has a mental ladder with different brands on each rung. There's a ladder for soft drinks, one for toothpaste, one for shoes, and even one for cell phones. The top rung usually belongs to the first or the strongest brand. The second and third rungs are for the others people remember. But beyond that, it gets fuzzy. People don't remember brands that sit on the 5th or 6th rung, because most of us don't want more than 3 options. It's just how the brain works. So if you're not in the top 2 or 3, you've got a problem. You either have to climb up, and that's tough, or create a new ladder altogether. For example, instead of being the 3rd best cola, you could be the first natural cola, the first low-sugar cola, or the first cola for athletes. In other words, you're still a cola, but you're changing the story so that your product gets its own position. Simplicity wins. If there's one rule in this book that every marketer should tattoo on their arm, it's this: keep it simple. The mind hates clutter. It doesn't have time to process complicated messages. The best positioning statements are short, sharp, and easy to remember. Take Volvo, it's about safety. FedEx, overnight delivery. BMW, driving performance. These aren't full stories. They're not detailed lists of features. They're simple words that tell you what the brand stands for. This is why Ries and Trout warn against overpositioning. That's when you try to say too much and end up saying nothing. Don't confuse people. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Be one thing and be it boldly. Positioning is about the customer, not you. Here's a hard truth. Customers don't care about your product. They care about what your product means to them. This is why many companies fail in their marketing. They focus too much on their own greatness and not enough on the customer's reality. You can't walk into someone's mind and just change their beliefs. Instead, you work with what they already think. If customers already believe that Tylenol is a safer painkiller than aspirin, then that's the perception you have to fight, or better yet, work around. Smart companies don't try to change minds. They position themselves in a way that fits into the way people already think. Naming is positioning. Let's talk about names. A product's name can either support its position or destroy it. Ries and Trout say that the best names reinforce what the brand is about. They're short, easy to say, and meaningful. Think of names like Head and Shoulders for dandruff, Die Hard for a tough battery, or Icy Hot for a pain relief product. The name itself tells you what it does. That's powerful. On the flip side, vague names like Acme Incorporated or Global Tech Solutions mean nothing. They don't tell the customer anything. In a crowded market, your name needs to do some heavy lifting. Ries and Trout even suggest that sometimes you should change your name if it doesn't fit your position. That might sound extreme, but if your name is blocking you from being remembered, it's better to fix it now than fight it forever. The problem with line extensions. You've seen it before. A brand does well in one area, and then it tries to stretch into another. Suddenly there's Coke, Diet Coke, Cherry Coke, Vanilla Coke, Coke Zero, Coke Energy. It never ends. Ries and Trout say this is dangerous. It weakens your position. If you stand for everything, you stand for nothing. When you line extend too far, you confuse people. Is your brand about luxury or affordability? Is it strong or soft? You can't be both. Customers want clarity, not complexity. So pick a lane and stay in it. Repositioning the competition. Sometimes the best way to position yourself is by repositioning your competitors. This doesn't mean lying or attacking them directly. It means changing how people see them so your position looks better in comparison. Take Tylenol again. When it entered the market, aspirin was the dominant painkiller. So instead of saying, "We're better," Tylenol positioned itself as gentler on the stomach, something aspirin wasn't. Suddenly, people saw aspirin as harsh and Tylenol as safer. Smart move. This only works if you do it carefully and honestly. If you make bold claims that people don't believe, you'll lose credibility. But if you shine a light on something the competitor is weak at and make that your strength, you win. You can position yourself too. This book isn't just for big brands. The principles of positioning apply to people as well. Whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a coach, or an artist, you need a position. What do you stand for? What makes you different? What one word would people associate with you? Are you the funny teacher, the creative engineer, or the brutally honest consultant? Whatever it is, you need to find your position and own it. Ries and Trout suggest that your personal image, your reputation, is your brand. And just like any brand, it must be clear, simple, and consistent. The role of advertising. So where does advertising fit into all this? Isn't that what marketing is all about? Not quite. According to Ries and Trout, advertising doesn't create positions, it supports them. You don't advertise to invent something new. You advertise to reinforce the position you've already taken. That's why your ad campaign needs to match your brand's position. If you're the luxury option, your ads should look classy and elegant. If you're the budget option, they should be direct and practical. Advertising can be expensive, so don't waste it on fancy words or vague slogans. Use it to hammer home your position again and again until it sticks. Final thoughts. Own the mind, win the market. At the end of the day, positioning is not a book about tricks or trends. It's a book about how humans think. People don't have time to figure out your brand. You have to make it easy. You have to make it memorable. and you have to take a position in their minds or someone else will. Ries and Trout give us a simple message. In a world full of noise, the winners are those who say less, but say it clearly. The companies and people who stand for something specific are the ones who get remembered. So whether you're launching a new app, starting a small business, or building your own personal brand, remember this. Don't try to be better. Try to be different. Try to be first in something. And never underestimate the power of a simple idea that sticks.